Alright, you guys, we are on lesson 8.6. This is page 350 in your Envisions workbook. So please make sure you're on page 350. And the page number is at the bottom of my screen if you need it. So we are telling time. And in the visual learning video that we just watched, we learned which hand is the minute hand and which hand is the hour hand. Now remember, the hour hand is the shortest one or the smallest one, and the minute hand is the longer one. So let's go ahead and let's look at the convince me first. So in the convince me, it says the time is 9:35. Where is the hour hand? Where is the minute hand? Well, when we look at time, the hour hand is always going to be the first number. So the hour hand is at 9. And the minute hand is going to be the second digit. And it's 35 minutes. So it's 9:35. So let's go ahead and let's look at the guided practice. The directions say complete the clocks so both clocks show the same time. Now we have an analog clock and a digital clock. Now the first one is an analog clock. The second one is a digital clock, where this one just tells you the time right away. So we're going to be learning how to read both clocks. Now if we look at the first one, even though it is done for us, let's go ahead and let's look at how they got their answer. So they're telling me that the time is 6:45. Now by looking at my clock and I look at the hour hand, which is my smallest hand, it is so close to the 7, but remember, until that hour hand touches the 7, then it's 7 o'clock. Until then, it is 6. So it is 6, and for the minutes, we count by 5s. So for example, at the 1, we start at 5. The 2 is 10. The 3 is 15. The 4 is 20. The 5 is 25. The 6 is 30. The 7 is 35. The 8 is 40. The 9 is 45. The 10 is 50. The 11 is 55. And the hour hand is 60 because there are 60 minutes in a whole hour. So when it hits 60, then it just turns to either it's 60 minutes or we just say o'clock, where it will be the hour. So they are correct. It is 6:45 because the 9 is 45 minutes. So go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and count by 5s on your clock. This is really going to help you when it comes to telling time with minutes. Let's go ahead now, let's move to number 2. So problem 2 is telling me that I need to show that the clock is at 3:25. Well, for my hour hand, I know I'm at 3 o'clock, and that's the smallest hand. So I'm going to go and put my arrow at 3 o'clock. You can draw lines or you can do the arrow. It's up to you, whichever you prefer. Now for my minutes, again, let's count by 5. So I know when is 25. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I know that my minute hand needs to be pointing at the 5. And again, the minute hand is the longer hand. So your clock should look like mine. It is 3:25. Again, please make sure that you count by fives and you show that on your clock so it helps you tell the time. Let's go ahead and let's move to number 3. Now number 3 has the analog clock done for us. But let's go ahead and let's see what time it is. Well, let's start off with the hour. My hour hand right here is pointing at the 8. Again, the hour hand is the smallest hand. So I know that my first number is going to be 8. And like I have up here, the 12 stands for either 60 minutes or o'clock is what we like to call it. So it's 8 o'clock. So when the minute hand is pointing at the 12, you say o'clock, and it's always going to be 00. So it's 8 o'clock. Let's go ahead now, let's look at number 4. For number 4, I have to show that it's 5:40. So it's on the hour hand, I need to show 5. And the hour hand is the smallest hand. And it's pointing to my 5. And again, you could just do lines. You don't have to do the arrow. Oops, that is really messy. Let's try that one more time. Okay, that looks a little better. And for my minutes, I need to show 40 minutes. Well, let's go ahead again and let's count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So my minute hand needs to be pointing at the 8 because that's 40 minutes. And my minute hand is the longer hand, and it's going to be pointing at the 8. So that is 5:40. So go ahead and show your work. Let's take a look at the independent practice. So for the independent practice, you're going to be doing the exact same thing with the guided practice. Either you're showing me the time on the analog clock, which is this clock here, or you're telling me the time on the digital clock, which is that time there, or that clock there. So you're going to be doing that for problems 5 through 10. Let's take a look at number 11. Number 11 is a number sense problem. It says complete the pattern. So if you look at the clocks, they're analog clocks, so they're telling you the time, or they're digital clocks, I'm sorry, and they're telling you the time. So I see 7 o'clock, 7:05, 7:10. Complete the pattern. Well, they start at 0, then they go up by 5 minutes, up by another 10. So what are they counting by for the minutes? Hint, hint. Make sure that once you are done that you take a picture and you upload it to Seesaw.